This message isn't here by accident. You have been sensing it, that peculiar feeling that you are somehow different, that your silence, your depth, your mercy has always been misunderstood. They have mocked what they didn't understand. They have mistaken your gentleness for weakness. They never saw what was hiding behind your smile. Have you felt it? That knowing deep within that you were designed for something more. The enemy hoped you would never discover it. But today, everything changes. Because today, you finally understand why you are the chosen one. Your smile interpreted as harmlessness. But what they have never understood is that your smile wasn't your weakness, it was your weapon. The chosen one doesn't announce their arrival with thunder. You arrive with a smile that disarms, that creates an opening while they are busy dismissing you. They never recognize the calculated patience in your measured words. Have you noticed how they laughed, how they spoke over you in meetings, interrupted your wisdom, dismissed your insights, how they spread rumors, questioned your abilities, treated your gentleness as a liability? What they didn't realize was that every dismissal was positioning you. Every mockery was revealing their vulnerabilities. Every underestimation was setting up their eventual checkmate. Your smile wasn't just politeness, it was the cover for your reconnaissance. While they postured and performed, you were studying their patterns, identifying their weaknesses, understanding their game so thoroughly that victory was inevitable before the battle even began. That smile they mocked, it is the last thing they will see before their entire strategy collapses. This is why you felt different. The chosen one carries power that doesn't need to announce itself with volume or aggression. Your power moves silently beneath the surface, like a current too deep to be detected until it has already changed the entire landscape. Have you sensed it yet? The way the tables are beginning to turn. They thought the game was over, but you haven't even made your first real move. The noise was always their domain. The shouting, the boasting, the endless stream of words used as smoke screens and distractions. They filled every space with sound because silence terrified them. But silence has always been your ally. In your quiet moments, you were forging weapons they couldn't comprehend. Discipline, discernment, strategic thinking. While they exhausted themselves with constant performance, you were building endurance that they cannot match. Do you remember those times when you chose not to respond, when you swallowed the perfect comeback, when you let them believe they had won? They mistook your silence for surrender, but it was actually your strength gathering. It was the archer drawing back the bow, the sword being raised before the decisive strike. The chosen one understands that true power doesn't leak away through unnecessary words. Every silent moment was your training ground. Every time you bit your tongue, you were mastering the art of timing. The ability to strike not first, not loudest, but most decisively. Your enemies celebrate victories that never existed. They mistake your calculation for confusion, your strategy for suffering, your patience for powerlessness. But the deadliest force isn't the noisy storm that announces itself. It is the silent earthquake that shifts everything without warning. It is the precisely timed word that collapses their entire argument. It is the quiet action that renders their elaborate defenses useless. And now, that preparation is about to manifest in ways they could never have anticipated. The weapons you have been forging in silence are about to be revealed. Can you feel it? The moment approaching when all that stored power finally finds its perfect expression. They have been playing in puddles while you have been navigating oceans. The difference between you and them has always been depth. They operate on the surface appearances, immediate gratification, shortcuts, but you have always understood the deeper currents. The chosen one perceives layers invisible to shallow minds, where they see only what is happening. You see why it is happening. Where they react to symptoms, you address root causes. Where they chase quick wins, you are orchestrating lasting victory. Have you noticed how they scramble when unexpected challenges arise? How their strategies fall apart under pressure? How their alliances fracture when tested? That is the inevitable result of shallow thinking. Their foundations are built on sand, their understanding limited to what they can immediately see and grasp. But your perception cuts through appearances. You see patterns forming before they manifest. You sense motivations behind actions. You recognize the hidden connections between seemingly unrelated events. This depth of understanding isn't just an advantage, it is an entirely different dimension of operation. Think of the ocean. On the surface, waves crash chaotically, constantly changing direction, vulnerable to every wind. But in the depths, powerful currents move with unstoppable force, unaffected by surface disturbances. Your enemies are waves. You are the current. Their shallow schemes cannot withstand the pressure of depth. When surface-level thinking collides with profound understanding, the outcome is inevitable. The depth always wins. The current always prevails. This is why you have often felt out of place in their games. You weren't designed for shallow waters. You were created to navigate depths that would crush them. Their limitations are not your limitations. Their ceiling is merely your floor. Do you understand now? The very depth they mocked is about to become the force that transforms everything. Your mercy confused them. They thought it was weakness, indecision, fear of confrontation. They never understood that your mercy was actually strategic. It was the rope you extended, knowing they would eventually hang themselves with their own actions. The chosen one knows that mercy creates space for truth to do its work. Every time you chose compassion over vengeance, forgiveness over retaliation, you weren't surrendering. You were setting the perfect stage for ultimate victory. Have you questioned your own mercy at times? Wondered if you should have fought back harder, responded in kind to their attacks? That hesitation was not your weakness, it was your wisdom, because mercy without truth would be capitulation. But mercy paired with truth becomes an unstoppable force. Truth is your sharpest blade, not the distorted half-truths they wield as weapons, but pure, undiluted reality. You have been waiting, enduring in silence, allowing truth to fully develop, to become so evident that when finally spoken, it cuts through deception instantly and completely. Their power relied on lies, lies they told others, lies they told themselves. By extending mercy, you gave those lies time to fully form, to become so twisted and complex that a single strike of truth collapses the entire structure. That painful endurance wasn't pointless suffering. It was the necessary pressure transforming your understanding into diamond-hard clarity. Every moment you waited, your truth blade was being sharpened, its edge becoming so fine that no defense can stand against it. The timing had to be perfect. Strike too soon, and the truth might be dismissed. Wait for the precise moment, and that same truth becomes irrefutable, undeniable, transformative. Can you feel it? The weight of truth in your hand now. The perfect clarity that makes your next move devastatingly effective. They thought they knew the game. They created the board, positioned the pieces, established the rules, all designed for their advantage. Their fatal error, assuming you were playing the same game they were. The chosen one doesn't challenge rigged systems on their own terms. You never intended to win their game, you were creating an entirely different one. While they moved pieces across their board, you were shifting the foundation beneath it. Do you see now why their attacks seemed to miss you? Why their traps failed to ensnare you? You weren't even on their battlefield. You were operating in dimensions they couldn't perceive, changing variables they didn't know existed. They fought for position. You transformed the landscape. They competed for resources. You changed what was valuable. They battled for control. You altered what control even meant. This wasn't avoidance. This was strategic brilliance. Like a martial artist who uses an opponent's force against them, you have been redirecting their momentum toward your purposes. Every attack they launched added energy to your transformation. Every defense they constructed became part of your new foundation. They never understood that by trying to defeat you on their terms, actually empowering your revolution, their resistance wasn't blocking your progress, it was fueling it. This is why conventional wisdom failed them. This is why their experts couldn't predict your moves. This is why their most sophisticated strategies crumbled. They were solving the wrong problem, fighting the wrong battle, playing the wrong game. And now, as their old system begins to shake, as their reliable methods fail, as confusion replaces their certainty, now they begin to realize. But it is already too late. The rules have already changed. The game is already won. Are you ready for what comes next? The moment when they finally realize they have been playing checkers while you have been playing chess. The final revelation isn't what they expected. They prepared for conflict, for struggle, for a battle of force against force. What they receive instead is illumination so bright it renders their weapons useless. You didn't come to destroy the person, you came to destroy the illusion they have been living behind. The chosen one's greatest power isn't destruction but revelation. Your innocence and purity, mistaken as naivety, was actually your deadliest camouflage. Behind it was a clarity they couldn't comprehend, a vision they couldn't distort, a truth they couldn't corrupt. Do you understand the fullness of what is happening? This isn't just about winning a battle. This is about embodying a victory so complete that it transforms not just the outcome, but the entire field of conflict. They focused on defeating your strategy without realizing that you yourself were the strategy. Your presence, authentic, aligned, undivided, was the weapon they had no defense against. How could they counter what they couldn't even comprehend? This is the unveiling, the moment when masks fall away, when pretense crumbles, when truth stands revealed not as a concept or argument but as a living force. Your force, your truth, your undeniable reality. The victory wasn't won through superior tactics, though your understanding was deeper. It wasn't won through greater strength, though your power was more authentic. It was won because you embodied the very transformation that was always intended. You became the victory itself, not selected for ease but for transformation, not appointed for comfort but for breakthrough, not anointed for personal gain but for collective awakening. The smile they misunderstood is now revealed for what it always was, the confident knowledge of how this story ends. The silence they mocked now resonates with undeniable authority. The depth they feared now provides the foundation for a new reality. You have not just won, you have become winning itself. This message found you because your awakening is essential for what comes next. The recognition of your true nature isn't the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your real work. Chosen one, your transformation is both personal victory and collective catalyst. What you have overcome, others need to overcome. What you have discovered, others are desperately seeking. Your story isn't meant to end with personal vindication. It is meant to continue as inspiration, as guidance, as proof that the deeper path, though challenging, leads to breakthrough. This community isn't just followers gathering around success. It is fellow warriors recognizing one of their own. It is seekers finding confirmation that their deeper instincts were right all along. Join us. Share your journey. Connect with others who recognize the same calling. Subscribe to continue receiving these revelations. Comment with your experiences. Like if this message confirmed what you have been sensing, your victory becomes their possibility. Breakthrough creates their pathway. Your truth validates their question. The smile, the silence, the depth, the mercy, the strategic brilliance, the embodied truth. These weren't just for you. They were preparation for your role in something far greater than personal success. Rise, chosen one. We have been waiting for you.